On Friday, September 20th, 2024, Mr. Rashid Braimah attended a burial ceremony in Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria. Some sources say the woman being buried was his aunt, but what Rashid didn't know was that this day, which was already heavy with grief, would soon become even darker because of him. His own burial was looming closer as a horrific tragedy awaited him just a few hours later. By the end of that day, Rashid would meet a heartbreaking end at the hands of someone he never could have imagined, his own blood brother. It was a betrayal so unimaginable that it would leave the entire community in shock and serious anger. Mr. Rashid Braimah was a well-respected lecturer in the Department of Accounting at Auchi Polytechnic, Edo State. He was married, and not long ago, his wife gave birth through a cesarean section. They were just starting to enjoy life as parents, full of hope and excitement for the future. Little did they know that the person who would take that happiness away and leave their child without a father was someone whom the newborn baby would have grown to address as uncle. Rashid had always been seen as the responsible elder brother, being the eldest son in a family of 3 boys. While he chose a life of teaching and family, his younger brothers, Omo and Odion, took a darker path that eventually led to their downfall. Omo and Odion were twins, and both of them were alleged to belong to a popular cult group in Nigeria. Odion was fortunate enough to travel out of the country, but he pushed his luck a bit too far when he got involved in an undisclosed criminal activity abroad. This resulted in his subsequent arrest and imprisonment. His imprisonment turned out to become the genesis of the problem, which resulted in the tragedy that occurred that Friday. That morning, after the burial, Rashid received a phone call from Omo. It wasn't out of the ordinary for them to speak, but this call came with an urgency. Omo wanted Rashid to meet with him at a nearby location for a quick discussion. Despite lingering tension and a long-standing family feud between the brothers, Rashid still agreed to meet with him, probably thinking, after all, this was family. What harm could possibly come from a simple conversation with my brother? Rashid left the ceremony to meet Omo at Solo Street, Iyeke Heritage Zone of Auchi Sacred Kingdom. When Rashid arrived at the agreed location, what happened next sent shockwaves through the entire community. Omo, instead of having the promised conversation, made the tragic decision to take his brother's life. Rashid collapsed, and by the time help arrived, it was already too late to save him. After committing this heinous act, Omo fled the scene and went into hiding, but this wouldn't be for long, as a witness at the scene claimed that there is an unwritten rule that anyone who takes another person's life in the Yeke community will not go scot-free. And unfortunately for Omo, the community enforced this said rule to the fullest. Omo is said to have been threatening his brother, Rashid, saying that he would take his life one day. Sadly, Rashid never took this threat seriously, and it eventually cost him his life. News of Rashid's murder spread like wildfire across Iyeke village, and the people who witnessed the horrific incident quickly went in search of Omo. When the mob eventually found him, he was dragged to the very same spot where he took his brother's life. In an act of jungle justice, the mob also tragically ended his life as well. Even the police, who tried to intervene and save Omo, were no match for the furious crowd. When they attempted to rescue him, they were driven back, and the situation quickly spiraled out of control. A woman trying to record the scene on her phone was attacked, and others who were filming the incident had their devices destroyed. The mob was determined that no evidence of their swift justice would remain. In a few short hours, 2 brothers were dead, one at the hands of the other, and the other at the hands of an enraged community. The Braimah family, once whole, was now broken beyond repair. Rashid, the responsible and hardworking elder brother, was gone. Omo, the frustrated twin who had taken matters into his own hands, was reduced to ashes. And then there was Odion, still locked in a prison cell abroad, unaware that his brothers were gone. There was great confusion about what would have led to the tragic incident that took place that Friday. However, people who knew the family very well began making attempts to explain the circumstances that led to the unforgettable tragedy. Some sources said Omar believed that his brother Rashid was responsible for the imprisonment of his twin brother Odion abroad. He is reported to have been pressuring Rashid to take part in an unknown activity that he believed would help secure his brother's release from prison. However, Rashid was said to have rejected taking part in the said activity. This made Omar to feel like Rashid wasn't doing enough to help secure their brother's release. This would make one to wonder what exactly Rashid would have done to secure their brother's release, because from all indications, he had neither the connections nor the wealth to make that happen. He was just a lecturer, far from someone with the kind of power needed to free a prisoner in a foreign country. An eyewitness at the scene also reported that Omo had once visited a native doctor who told him that Rashid was the reason why they were struggling in life. He was made to believe that Rashid was progressing in life because he had used their destinies. This revelation, in addition to Rashid's lack of cooperation in making efforts to secure their brother's release from prison, may have been the reason why Omar took the tragic action that day. There is also another report that the tragic incident was as a result of a land dispute between Rashid and Omar. No one really knows what really led to the tragic incident, and at the time of making this video, the family were yet to make any official statement to address the true situation of things. In the end, whether Rashid's death was the result of a family land dispute or an act of frustration over their brother's imprisonment, the outcome remains the same. The family has been destroyed and the community has been left to grapple with the horrifying events of that very day. Two brothers gone in the blink of an eye, leaving behind nothing but questions and unending pains for the parents and family. This is really a tragic and disturbing situation. The story shows how quickly things can escalate when anger and frustration are left unchecked. To think that this incident was between two biological brothers is even more heartbreaking. Also, none of the people who were involved in the jungle justice have been reportedly arrested. The angry youths believe that sending Omar to his own grave was the right thing to do. But was it really the right action to take? How do you feel about jungle justice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching and stay safe.